Imagine opening a door into a world where power is not just measured by votes, speeches, or government positions, but by something far more. Influential, massive wealth, the kind of wealth that builds cities, owns entire industries, and quietly shapes the direction of a whole country. And today you're stepping into that world as we uncover the 10 richest politicians in the Philippines. A list so surprising and so revealing that you'll want to stay until the very end. Because the deeper you go, the more you realize that politics and money in the Philippines are not just connected, they practically the same roadmap. And every person on this list holds a level of influence that most people only hear about, but never fully understand. So get ready, because what you're about to learn may change the way you look at leadership, power, and the people who run the nation. Let's start with Manny Villar, widely known as the richest politician the country has ever seen. A man who rose from poverty and built a real estate empire from scratch, turning small housing projects into massive subdivision networks, and later expanding into malls, telecom, water services, media companies, and nearly every business sector you can imagine. And what makes his story even more powerful is that his success didn't stay just in business, because his wife, Cynthia Villar, became a senator. His children, Mark and Camille, entered public service. And together they became one of the most influential families in the country, mixing business, wealth, and political power in a way that no other family has matched, making the Villar legacy one of the strongest forces in modern Philippine politics. Next on the list is President Bongbong Marcos, whose name alone carries a history that shaped generations. And whether people support or criticize him, the fact remains that the Marcos family holds large wealth built from businesses, properties, and a long political history that made them one of the most powerful dynasties ever. And even today, the Marcos name commands influence across provinces, business sectors, and political alliances, proving that their legacy of power is still very much alive. And with the presidency, Bongbong's reach extends across the entire country, making him one of the most influential figures in both wealth and political control. Third is Ernie Lagdameo Jr., a man whose wealth comes from a long-established family empire built on land plantations and business ventures across Mindanao and other regions. And while his name may not be as loud as others, his financial strength is massive, backed by generations of investments and political connections that helped him rise to top government roles. And his story shows that not all political power is loud. It grows quietly through long-lasting family influence and deep-rooted wealth that spans multiple industries. Fourth is Albi Benitez, a businessman turned politician whose massive wealth came from gaming entertainment resorts and large development projects, and he became one of the wealthiest public officials thanks to his business achievements long before his political career even started, making him a unique figure who blended financial success with public leadership, especially in the Visayas, where his influence continues to expand, creating new resorts, jobs, and projects that shape entire communities. Fifth is Ramon Gico, who built his fortune through construction, hotels, educational institutions, and large-scale development businesses. And his journey from entrepreneur to politician shows how business success can open the door to political power. But what sets him apart is how his wealth allowed him to invest in projects that transformed the places he served, giving him both financial strength and public recognition, allowing him to rise higher in the political ladder and influence larger regions. Sixth is Martin Romualdez, a powerful figure connected to the Marcos family, and one of the most influential politicians in the House of Representatives, with massive assets tied to land corporations and long-established wealthy relatives. And his role in government gives him national-level influence that extends beyond wealth, allowing him to shape laws, decisions, and political alliances that affect millions, and his family's name continues to be a major force in Philippine politics. Seventh is Mikey Romero, whose business empire includes port shipping, companies, real estate, and international investments, making him one of the wealthiest people to ever serve in Congress. And his journey from businessman to public official shows how wealth can transition into political leadership with his financial background, giving him opportunities and connections that strengthened his influence in both private and public sectors. Eighth is Zaldi Co., known for major business ventures, land development, and expanding investments that helped him build large financial power before entering politics. And although he gained public attention later than other political families, his rising influence continues to grow as he leads projects, business developments, and political efforts that make him one of the emerging, powerful figures in Filipino leadership. Ninth is Mark Villar, the son of Manny and Cynthia Villar, who inherited not just wealth, but a legacy of business knowledge and political connections. And after serving as a government official, his reputation for overseeing large infrastructure projects strengthened his public image, while his family's real estate empire provided him with immense financial backing, making him one of the wealthiest younger politicians in the country and a key figure in the next generation of political leadership. And 10th is Emeline Aglipa Villa, whose wealth comes from a mix of her own government career and her ties to the Villar business empire. And although she entered politics differently than others on this list, her connection to one of the most powerful families in the country gives her a level of influence that extends across industries, government, agencies, and business networks, making her one of the richest and most influential women in Philippine politics. Now here is the part that makes this entire list more than just a ranking. When you put these 10 figures together, a bigger picture appears, because every one of them shows how money and politics blend in the Philippines, where family dynasties hold long-lasting power, where business empires support political campaigns, where influence is passed down through generations, and where wealth does more than buy luxury. It buys visibility, connections, and the kind of lasting impact that shapes national decisions, development, and even the future of millions of Filipinos. And when you look at the country today, from its biggest cities to its smallest towns, you can see the fingerprints of these wealthy leaders in the roads, buildings, policies, and projects that fill everyday life, proving that the richest politicians aren't just powerful because of their titles. They're powerful because their wealth gives them resources, networks, and decision-making strength that few others can match. And that's why understanding their stories matters, because it shows how leadership really works behind the scenes, where money and influence create a cycle that continues from generation to generation, making you wonder what the future of the Philippines will look like if these wealthy dynasties continue to rise, expand, and shape the nation in ways most people don't even notice. And as you reach the end of this documentary-style explanation, one question remains. In a country where wealth and politics are so deeply connected, who truly holds the power? The leaders, elected by the people, or the billionaires, guiding the system from above?